If you change the oil while the engine is hot and you remove the old oil while the engine is bloody hot, you need to go for a ride, go for a ride of at least an hour, go beat the shit out of it, use all 6 gears, let this oil collect all the particles and all the metal particles, and then while it's hot, don't give time to cool down, just flush it. Okay guys, so the job of today is going to be change the oil on my Tenere. I already went for about an hour ride with my girlfriend so that the engine is nice and hot, and now I will show you more or less the temperature. The temperature went to 88 degrees, but I can assure you that the engine is really nice and boiling. Remove the bush plate. One of the steps I'm gonna have to do before is that I don't really have a tank where to collect the used oil, so I'm gonna have to cut an hole over here. And since this is about 5 liters and inside the engine there is about 2.6, it's gonna be more than enough. This is ready, and as you can see it's also more functional because this will avoid any spilling of the oil as soon as I open it. Let's remove the bush plate. New air filter, the crush ring that has one side, so I think one side goes on the outside, the one goes on the inside, but anyway we're gonna figure out this later. I think when I remove the plug it's gonna probably show which one goes where. And the reason why removing it is because it's just a piece of aluminum, is really thin. I think this is probably, I don't want to exaggerate, 2 millimeters probably. Because when you go off-road, the only thing you want is a strong skid plate. With fun times, we're gonna remove the drain plug. This is 17 millimeters. That obviously we need to unscrew anti-clockwise. Okay, wow. It does take quite some strength. Something I just remember is that it's best if you open the cup so some air will go in and it will allow a more full exit of the oil. Okay. I have to be honest, it's a messy job, but you gotta do it. And you save a lot of money from the mechanic, obviously. Okay, that's alright. Not much mess, to be honest. Less than I thought. Drain plug over here. But not least, we need to remove also the oil filter. Obviously, once you remove this one, there is a bit more oil that will come out, so just be aware of this. Okay, so while all this oil drain, there you go. I want to talk with you about something. The reason why you do the oil change while the engine is hot and is boiling, like actually now I'm struggling to hold all the particles that are contained in the engine, and that during the shift and everything they get a little bit grinded, all the metal parts. I don't know if the oil is cold, okay, you're not gonna drain all these metal particles, but if the oil is obviously hot, it will pull everything from the clutch. In fact, it's important that you go for quite a hard ride so that you drain all the metal parts. So dark is all these metal particles that are accumulated inside the engine and in the oil filter. It gets really much attention on the internet. So there is a crush washer, that is the one I showed you before, that is actually here and is very difficult to remove, and it gets so squashed, as you can see, is probably a millimeter, and that you need to remove it and place the new one that obviously it's a little bit thicker, and when you want to put it in it will squeeze and it will be crushed, so it will come back just like this one. At this point we're gonna be replacing first the drain bolt, and by specs it has to be torqued at 43 Newton meters. I am a big fan of using the torque wrench, and I think it just avoids you to do a lot of mistakes when doing this kind of job, because it's always stainless steel against aluminum, so the aluminum will always give up in this case. I'm gonna open the O-ring, and if you're wondering in which direction does it go, because this is a question I was asking myself before. As you can see, there is a small scalino, I don't know to call it, on one side, and the other part is flat. So the scalino goes on the bolt, because I noticed and there was a small space sitting down on the bolt. So that's how it should go. Paper, just clean a little bit. We're gonna put this back in and tighten it to specs. Up at 43 Newton meters. So the way I like to do it is that first I will set 40 and then we go to 43. So it's 40, 3 more. Okay, done. Wow, I have to be honest, these things gives me a lot of anxiety, because once you strip this kind of bolt, you're technically fucked. Okay, second game. We're gonna install the new oil filter. I'm gonna clear up the surface again. And against whoever thinks in the past those filters, they come already nice and lubricated, as you can see. And all we need to do, as you can see, is nice and lubricated already. You can see there is a bit of shining like silicone. And the way it works is that we ideally need a torque wrench, but in this case I was reading that once you feel this is reaching this point, you tighten. So you go like this. Once you find difficulties, you tighten about 3/4 more of a turn. So I'm gonna bring this label, go here and then here, and we can do this obviously by hand. And once this compresses a little bit, obviously it will give me space to tighten it a little bit more. So I think like that should be fine, and I don't want to go more than that. Okay, so obviously whatever goes out goes back in. We're gonna put layers of module. So I created this handmade funnel because I want to avoid the dirty jobs in this case. So for the first few, we can be more than confident that we can put the first two fully. Nice and red module oil like the blood, clean blood. I can see Tenere still thirsty, so we're gonna give more blood. There you go, Tenere. Drink all the blood you need. The red wine for the white horse. The blood for the white vampire. Even though the window still already shows the oil halfway, don't forget that most of it needs to go on in the oil filter. So we still need to let the machine run and then check the quantity of oil we need one more time. I will probably give 500 and then start the engine and see how this goes. Tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. So we have given Tenere more or less 2.5 liters of oil, fresh oil. Let the engine run a little bit. Obviously never forget to close this first and maybe give it a good clean. It's always a good idea, as a lot of dirt, especially if you go off-road, does accumulate on the inside. Make sure that there is the O-ring, the rubber O-ring in the cup, very important. Tighten it. Because I want you guys to understand what I'm doing, I've put 2.5 liters of fresh oil. I know the window shows totally full, but because this is part that will go in the oil filter, so now what we need to do is obviously close the side stand, start the engine and let the machine run for a little bit. it is very important that we check if there is any leaks, either from the oil filter or from the drain plug. Did quite a good job for the first time. We let the engine run a little bit. The sound of an engine after you've done the oil change, and I'm sure that when you're gonna be riding it, it's gonna be just the same. It's gonna feel different. I really enjoy this. So smooth and silent. I'm a little bit of a maniac. I will go check again if there is any leaks coming from you know, the drain plug or the oil filter. Oil filter, nothing. Drain plug, nothing. Okay, at this point we just wait for the oil to settle down again. I think I'm gonna open the window a little bit because it's getting a bit smoky in here. Okay, so the oil after the engine has been turned off came back down to the level it's supposed to. You can see it's sitting on the maximum, but that's the way I like it, especially if you're riding off-road. And many people complain then the oil turns immediately black after you put it in the engine. Now, if you change the oil while the engine is hot, and you remove the old oil while the engine is bloody hot, you need to go for a ride, go for a ride of at least an hour, go beat the shit out of it, use all 6 gears, let this, you know, oil collect all the particles and all the metal particles, and then while it's hot, don't give time to cool down, just flush it. The result, it will be that if you put red oil, it will stay red. That's it. It's very simple. The manual says to run at idle a little bit. In my opinion, you should just go for a, like, not super hard ride, you know, but ride it, you know, just fucking ride it. It's a machine, it's meant to, you know, be used. Go for a ride, hot, that's it.